right, and last up in session 1, we have the team that's been working with the Society of Entrepreneurs and Ecology Incorporated.
Hi everyone, my name is Ellie Rose and I will be presenting on behalf of our capstone group. Our project is focused on building a sustainability roadmap in partnership with the Society of Entrepreneurs and Ecology. So first, I will go over who our client is. The Society of Entrepreneurs and Ecology, and for the purposes of this presentation, I will be referring to them as simply the Society. So the Society is China's largest conservation network, and they focus on reforestation efforts, wildlife protection, and critical land and water restoration. The Society is comprised of over 2,000 entrepreneurs, mainly from small and medium-sized enterprises, and the acronym here is SME. I will be referring to SMEs a lot throughout this presentation. So an SME is as you might guess it, a small business that has different business realities than a large corporation. And the highlight here is that SMEs make up a huge portion of the Chinese economy, and so that's why the Society would like us to focus in on that sector. So the Society was actually able to come all the way from China to campus. They were here during Climate Week, so it was amazing for us to all meet in person. We had this amazing roundtable discussion, and we together formed this hypothesis that SMEs really struggle to integrate sustainability into their operations despite recognizing its importance. The Society noted that a lot of these SMEs really value their participation with the Society and the conservation efforts, but they are under survival pressures. They may need to participate in non-green markets, and they may face labor shortages, especially if they are working outside of a major city. So we formed these 3 questions that led us to our research. First, what is the current status of sustainability initiatives and awareness amongst Chinese SMEs? What do they need to commence their sustainability journey? And how can they future-proof their operations through sustainability considerations? We approached our research with 3 pillars. First, a literature review on Chinese SME ecosystems and sustainability. Second, we had interviews and the roundtable discussion with the Society's Chinese SME members. And we screened over 20 global indicator and reporting frameworks. So let me walk you through our findings. The literature review highlighted that the main drivers of sustainability amongst SMEs are reputation, regulation, and competitiveness. However, there are some key barriers that prevent SMEs from achieving these goals, such as perceived high costs, low capacity, and limited policy support. So, our key takeaway here is that sustainability awareness does exist, but its implementation often loses to competing business priorities. Second, our interview and roundtable findings highlighted 3 key themes across 15 interviews and our roundtable. We had, we noticed consistent themes across our SMEs that we spoke to. One is that sustainability is not systematically integrated. It's rather responsive and reactionary to costs and regulations or reputations. It's not integrated in a systematic operational way. And again, the key constraints here are financial and regulatory pressures with limited internal capacity. So what actually motivates an SME to take sustainable actions? We found that what really motivated them was examples from peers that connected to real operational results. So throughout our interviews, we came across dozens of case studies, but we extracted 3 here to really highlight what we found. First is an eco-agriculture case study that highlighted that this sustainable agriculture method was able to boost productivity through reduced feed inputs, on-site solar, improved energy performance, and the company was able to sell excess energy back into the grid. And third, a waste to value example highlighted that this was a way for a sustainable initiative to create a new revenue stream. And lastly, our global screening, our screening of global sustainability reporting frameworks highlighted that these provide valuable direction, but if you've ever worked with the science-based targets, SASB, CDP, you would know that these are very complex and dense frameworks and documents, and so they are too complex for an SME. They often value disclosure over action, and they don't translate well into operations. And so our key takeaway here is that global sustainability reporting frameworks fail to meet SMEs at their business maturity level. And so this was, these were the findings of our research, and this led us to the conclusion that SMEs need a tailor-made, clear, actionable toolkit. And this is what we produced. So this is a guidebook that an SME can look to, regardless of whatever industry they're working in, that they can look to inform their sustainability journey throughout various points in the cycle. So let's take a look at what this will look like. Our toolkit links sustainability to business value. It spans across 4 dimensions: resource management, employee well-being, transparency and stewardship, and community impact. And within these dimensions, we have specific indicators. So for resource management, we highlight water use, energy use, carbon management, waste management, and material use. Employee well-being, we cover labor practices, health and safety, training, and hiring. Transparency and stewardship, we incorporate regulatory compliance, corporate environmental policy, and supply chain due diligence. And lastly, community impact encompasses community engagement and corporate philanthropy. So I'm going to use water use here as an example to show one level down into what the toolkit will actually look like in practice. So we are providing insights and practical guidance for each topic. So we highlight the risks associated with failing to address the certain topic and the business opportunities associated with becoming more sustainable in this area. We're also highlighting the Chinese regulations that's related, because this is tailor-made for Chinese-specific businesses. And we are providing short-term implementation options that a business can take today that requires very little resources and capacity to implement. And that will set the business up for more enhanced medium and long-term sustainability implementation options. Also, we are providing a proof of concept, and this is a case study that is extracted from our interviews, and this highlights that sustainability action can happen at an SME level, and we're hoping that these case studies will provide inspiration for potential projects. So, what's next? The Society is planning to distribute our toolkit to their network of Chinese SMEs, and we presented it to them last night, and we got amazing feedback. They noted that it was really digestible, practical, and clear, which was our goal, and they hope to expand the toolkit for a more global application, and momentum is already underway. We filmed a short informational video that the Society presented at COP30 in Brazil, so that was very exciting. And so we are looking forward to seeing how our toolkit will be implemented in businesses and hopefully create more sustainable operations. Thank you, and especially thank you to Professor Gao for his guidance and support throughout the semester. We really appreciate it, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. That was a really great presentation. Thank you. One question that I had was, did you look at the voluntary SME framework, and how similar or dissimilar is your proposal compared to that?
Yes, we did. And so the voluntary framework is more focused on reporting, and we really wanted to highlight actions that a business can take that will make their operations more sustainable, rather than just reporting their data and metrics. So it's more actionable.
All right, that was very good, a very nice presentation. So China is a very economically developed country. And so I want to know how impactful the economic development level of the country to the roadmap approach you have developed. Because if we want to make this a global approach, then we have to consider the developing countries as well. So does the level of development, economic development of the country impact your approach, and how can it be adopted for developing and underdeveloped countries?
Absolutely. So this toolkit is specific for China, but we recommended that if the society wants to broaden their audience for this, to really look at the different regulations, and this doesn't even have to be specific to the country, it could be regional, or even if a country is an important part of a supply chain, look at the buyers and where their product will end up, and if there's any regulatory implications there. So I think that an SME will face different constraints in different operational geographies, but the main takeaway here is that the actions need to follow the regulations, and so if we change the regulations, we can change the audience.
I just wanted to ask if the economic sustainability was addressed in your toolkit of the initiatives that you suggested.
Yes, so we really highlighted the economic impacts of sustainability. So, for example, if improving sustainability in one area may lead to cost savings or productivity efficiencies and different revenue streams. So we really wanted to highlight that being sustainable is good for business, and it creates a more resilient and future-proof operations.